You're watching 90s Rock in 9 minutes. I'm Sam Bass. This is Slim Pickins. And we're going over live, throwing copper. Oh yeah. First off, why would you name your band Live? That's going to get really confusing. You know what I mean? This is live. Live.
It's super confusing. In fact, when I went to look them up on the Google box, first thing I put in was live, and then live what? Live music? And yeah, it pulls up all the live music that's happening around me. Live bands playing in town. Actually had to search for live band Throwing Copper, go to the Throwing Copper wiki to get to the live wiki. That was my method anyway.
And that's a good method. I mean, they obviously did not design themselves to be an easy search on the internet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
95. Was that right? Is that when that album came out?
This actually came out in
96.
1984, but they held on to it for... No.
I was about to say, I think they did get together in about 84.
Yeah, they wrote this before the band actually existed. This looks like it was 1994. Probably dropped in 95. We probably should know these facts, but we don't. That's for you to look up. Now I want to look it up.
There's a certain element of discovery to this for us and the audience, I believe.
Yeah, this is like we've already gone over it before. It's a meta review. And that's the way of the future, Mark Zuckerberg.
First things first, just full disclosure, my very first girlfriend and I, song.
We don't want to do full disclosure on that.
Partial disclosure.
Okay, partial disclosure.
Very first song that I had with a girlfriend.
Was this not really a song?
No,
it was a real. So it's not a song. It's a song for a girlfriend.
The first song you have with your girlfriend, you know, like you and your partner song.
With your life partner.
It was more like my 9th grade partner, I believe, is where I was at that time. But Lightning Crashes was it, man. We held hands, sweaty palm to sweaty palm, listening to this song over and over and over again. It was a really beautiful thing.
Sounds beautiful. And that's a good song. I mean, obviously, if you grew up in the 90s or, lived through it, that was a perfect, teenage love song.
Yeah, well, this album, I think, was a perfect album because it had so much angst in it, which, what 14-year-old boy full of hormones is not dealing with a little bit of angst?
Well, back in the 90s, I would say that's accurate.
Oh, you don't think teenagers deal with angst anymore? Did we solve that problem as a society?
I think we did with 90s rock.
90s rock solved teen angst.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, 90s rock ought to probably get some kind of prize for that, don't you think?
They should, but it's just... I lost it. We lost it. Okay. 90s rock solved all the problems in America in one day.
Or at least 90s rock in 9 years. Maybe that should be...
We're not renaming the show now.
Is it too late?
It's too late, man. I already syndicated this.
All right. Well, in the future, you're going to have to rebrand at some point. Everybody does.
We'll rebrand in the 2090s.
All right. Oh, there you go. All right. Or if you get canceled, we were just talking about that.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
So, unique things about this album. The red on the front, not sure what that's about. I think it was just a very smart marketing decision. People used to go to stores and buy these things. Do you remember that? Going into a record store and going through thousands of CDs. And this would have stood out. Look at that.
That happened right after they invented the wheel.
Right. It was the wheel, and then, less than a year later, it was record stores.
The first song on here, if I didn't know that this whole album was going to be what it is, a masterpiece, I probably would have been like, this album sucks, because of the first song. But I feel like it was kind of like a 90s psych out thing where we suck you in going, is it going to get any better than this? And then boom, you have a classic.
Yeah.
4 classics.
I think our attention spans were longer back then. Plus, everybody had heard Lightning Crashes, I feel like, before they went and bought that album. So, they'd go listen to Lightning Crashes. I think it's like the 4th track on the album, or 6th or 7th, I don't know. But they'd listen, go to the beginning, and you'd be, in the 90s, we were willing to listen to some weird, bad stuff and just have faith that the band was going to bring it back around. I don't know that we do that anymore. If you don't get the kids with that first track,
you're done.
You've lost them. So this album, to me, obviously it was weird. It was a little strange, and that was cool. I was a kid at the time, and that was able to kind of, expand my musical horizons a little bit. But man, I'll never forget. This is another story about Lightning Crashes. I was listening to that song probably for the 50th time in the car, and it was all over the radio. And I'll never forget the special moment I had with my dad. I'm listening to this album. He comes into my room. That song is on. He listens to a little bit of it, and he says, "Son, I'm real proud of your taste in music."
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a badass song, too, and had a very, I think, personal and special meaning for Ed.
Yeah, Ed Kowalski.
Yeah, if somebody knows how to pronounce that and wants to drop us a voice memo, that would be great.
Oh, and you found out he dropped out of the band, right?
He did. He left the band in 2009. Not really sure why, but I think, that second album, you said the name of it earlier. I can't.
Oh, Secret Samadhi.
Yeah. So
that's actually their 4th album, right?
That was their 4th. Oh, yeah. That was something that we discovered. This was not their first album, like I assumed, and I assume everybody that was my age assumed. This was their 3rd
That's
album.
what I assumed.
Yeah, so, I mean, they had already been around the block, which kind of makes sense why they were able, this was probably their masterwork. But yeah, he's
master stroke.
Yeah.
If you will.
He's kind of a religious dude, I think, and that second album has something to do with, like, Hindu meditation, and
I thought he was a Satanist.
He might have been that too, but if he was a Satanist, he was one that was also that did a little Hindu meditation on the side.
Oh, like Hindu Satanism.
Yeah, that's its own special form. Mm-hmm.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's real. There's a wiki on that.
I bet you there really is.
There probably is.
Hindu Satanism. Oh my God. That's me.
Yeah, you might discover like a new religion that you want to check out. So
this podcast has been really informative. We've got marketing strategies, new religion, and we took a deep dive into your personal memory bank, which thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
Because I have no memory of this record.
Really? This one missed you?
Yeah, I mean, I heard the stuff on the radio, but the songs never came in at a poignant time for me.
Yeah.
I don't really have any poignant times in my life, so.
Oh.
You know what? But this is poignant right now.
Right. This is it. You're living it.
Yeah, this is my memory of live, is whenever I did a podcast and I had a guy named Slim Pickins come on here and talk about it.
Yeah, when you're revisiting this 20 years from now, that'll be your trip through memory lane,
It really will. Well, hey, thanks for checking this review out. We hope that it jogs some of your memory banks of your experiences with live. Be sure to comment and
like and subscribe.